Hi there, and welcome back to St. Thomas Aquinas for Everyone. I'm Dave Palmer, and we are continuing on our treatise on the angels from the Summa Theologia. We're in question number 55 now, as we've already learned about angelic nature and how and do the angels move? Are they in a place? And in this video, it's a very interesting topic, epistemology of the angels. How do they know? What do they know? How is their knowledge different from the way we come to know things? Very, very, very important part of the Summa. So let's get right to it. And Thomas is going to start off asking in article number 2 of question 55 of Prima Pars, whether an angel understands by species drawn from things. Now, that may not make a lot of sense to you, but I'm going to explain it in the course of this video because really he's comparing the angelic nature to our nature and how we come to know things. Let me do a little bit of review because in one of the early videos, I told you about 2 words that you had to understand if you're going to understand the Summa. One of them was teleology, and the other one was epistemology. Okay, that's the study of knowledge. It's how things come to know. Very, very important. The little diagram of the Summa here, at about 10 o'clock there on the diagram, you see God. The Summa starts with God. It ends with God. And the whole rest of the Summa is God creating the world and then drawing the world back to himself. All creatures, the final end of everything is God. Remember we learned that? And so now we're really at about 12 o'clock with creation and angels. And then we're going to get into the treatise on man and then man's return to God through Jesus Christ, the sacraments, grace, and those kind of things, all right? Remember the one verse summary of the Summa, at least in my estimation, is this, John 17:3, this is eternal life, that they may know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent. That summarizes the Summa quite nicely. And as we go into epistemology, again, we're talking about angels here, but we're not really going to understand angels unless we understand how we come to know things. And I showed you this little cartoon picture of a girl looking at a dog, and then she has this idea, an image of a dog in her mind. Okay, that's how we know things. Okay, we come up with ideas based on what we're able to physically see with our eyes or touch or smell. Okay, we use our senses to come to know things. Here's another little diagram. Okay, here's a guy and he's thinking of something. We don't know what he's thinking about. Okay, an apple or a banana or a car, but he has an idea in his mind. That is very different, as we're going to show in this video, as how an angel, even for me to say comes to know things, isn't entirely true because it's just different. Okay, their epistemology is different than ours. Their way of knowing things is different than ours, and it's very different from a dog. Okay, what can a dog know, and how is it different? Thomas goes into a lot of detail in this in the Summa. We're going to cover it all. Even a border collie, considered to be the smartest of dogs, has nothing compared to human nature, and certainly not angelic nature because they're even smarter than us. There's the debate in the culture about whether apes have the same kind of cognitive abilities that humans do, and it's really totally different the way that apes come to know things as opposed to human beings, because we are made to the image and likeness of God, and there's a grasshopper. Okay, I'm not sure exactly why you need to see a grasshopper, but of course, of all the creatures on this page, the grasshopper's ability to know things would be very limited. So before we get to the angels, I just want to tell you about the way that we come to know things. A little bit of review, but let's say you come across this snake out in the wild. Okay, now I'd be delighted because I love snakes. Now, with our senses, we see the physical aspects of the snake, right? We see its size, its color, its scales, its tongue, its eyes, right? We could, if we got close to it, we could touch it, which I wouldn't recommend with this snake because I think it's venomous. It's a rattlesnake, right? But that's how we come to know things. But our intellect has a process called abstraction, where we abstract the essence or the species of what it is. Okay, this is a snake in its essence. A snake, it's the form of this creature is snakeness. And our intellect is able to kind of abstract that. It's called abstracting phantasms, which we'll learn about. And that's how we come to know the universal of a snake, but we also get to see the particular of this specific snake, okay? And I know we'll get into a lot more of this, but I just want you to have that kind of preface before we talk about angelic epistemology, okay? So Thomas says, the species whereby the angels understand are not drawn from things. Remember, we had to draw the species out of that snake through our intellect, okay, passive and active, but are co-natural to them. All right, co-natural. That means they know it naturally, okay? They know things that we have to come to know through our senses. They already know. The lower intellectual substances, that is to say human souls, okay, you are a lower intellectual substance, whether you know it or not, have a power of understanding which is not naturally complete, but is successively completed in them by their drawing intelligible species from things. Okay, that's what I just explained for that snake. We draw the species from them using our senses and our intellect, which work together, right, body and soul. Okay, but in the higher spiritual substances, that is the angels, the power of understanding is naturally complete by intelligible species, insofar as they have such species co-natural to them, so as to understand all things which they can know naturally. So the snakeness of a snake, we have to figure out by experiencing a snake. We have to see it. We have to experience a snake, and then we can come to know it because we first saw it with our senses, and then we abstract it with our intellect. The angels don't have to do that. When they're created, they already know snakeness. Okay, it's an innate species. It's natural to them already. So their mode of knowing is very different than ours. It's very interesting, isn't it? Because they don't have bodies. There's no way they can use senses. They don't have bodies. And so the key here is the body. All right, I know John Paul II wrote Theology of the Body. You have to understand the body. You have to understand the soul. Remember, we're complicated. God is simple. Angels are more simple than us because they don't have bodies. We have to use our body, use our senses in order to come to know things, and angels don't have to do that. Isn't that interesting? All right, did you like that? Was that easy enough to understand? Comment below, like the video, all that kind of good stuff. Subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. We have a couple more videos on the angels. We're going to talk about the choirs of angels and the will and the love and all this good stuff. Okay, so we're really just kind of getting started on the angels. And then after the angels, we go into human nature. And that truly is one of my very, very most favorite parts of the Summa. So I hope you're enjoying this. Thanks again for watching. And another one to come very soon. This is St. Thomas Aquinas for everyone. I'm Dave Palmer. God bless you.